Hello and welcome back to the Girl Fit Method podcast. On today's podcast episode, we have another dial-in dilemma. And this one is all about getting your body prepped for pregnancy, losing weight for pregnancy, and then how to deal with weight loss after your pregnancy. Big topic. You might not be thinking about falling pregnant, but it is a really important one, I think, for the majority of women because there is so much pressure put on girls to bounce back after giving birth or to set themselves up for a successful pregnancy and actually how to deal with weight gain during pregnancy. And it's something that's not spoken about a lot, but if you're someone that's a type A person and you like to control things, pregnancy is incredibly difficult. And I would actually also say having your first child, and I haven't had, and I've only got Sunny, I've got the one, but my experience was actually incredibly difficult because so much ends up out of your control, especially your body. There's a whole lot you can't control during pregnancy. So, how do you mentally deal with that? And how do you mentally deal with that weight gain? And that's what we're going to go over today. Now, I also want to say that I will be revealing the winner of the Gymshark voucher for this month. So anyone that hasn't left a rating and a review, please do. It helps me out so incredibly much. And if you take a screenshot of that rating or the review, please send it to me as a DM and you'll go into the running to win a $100 Gymshark voucher. All right, guys, I'm excited to get into this week's podcast episode. Let's answer our dial-in dilemma question.
Hello.
Hello, who am I speaking with today?
Hey, I'm Anisha. How are you?
I'm well, thanks, Anisha. I'm super excited to have you on the Dial-In Dilemmas episode of the podcast. What is your question for me today?
So my question was basically around the motivation to work out when you're trying to conceive. I'm basically in my early 30s, and it's been a bit of a journey. I think the last 3 to 6 months has been me trying to conceive, but also still trying to get to my fittest as I work towards this journey. I don't know how long it's going to take. And I think the constant, checking in with your tests and the inevitable weight gain that I am going to experience is a bit of a downer. So I don't know how to manage my expectations and stay motivated.
Okay, so I just want to clarify that. So are you hoping to be losing weight now prior to falling pregnant, or are you more so trying to figure out how to navigate once you do fall pregnant, how to, or maybe it might be a bit of both as well, how to deal with the inevitable weight gain?
Mostly the former, because I want to be at my fittest when I do fall pregnant, so I don't have to worry about weight gain then.
Okay, well, let's talk about how hard pregnancy is. And people talk about how beautiful pregnancy is, but let me tell you, for the majority of women, you have this little, beautiful and blessed creature, but come in and completely take over your body. And so much in that 9 months is out of your control. And a part of that is weight gain and how your body changes, which is really quite challenging. So I'll reflect back on my own experience. I actually found falling pregnant quite difficult as well, and I had my son through IVF. So when I did fall pregnant, I felt elated, first of all, but also I felt like I needed to be just thankful that I was pregnant in the first place and enjoy the actual process of being pregnant and kind of ignored the fact that I felt so out of control, and you are completely out of control when you are pregnant with what was happening with my body. And this is something that a lot of women really struggle with as well. And there is nothing wrong with feeling that way. Let's talk about, I guess, what you need to be doing when it does come to pregnancy. In regards to nutrition and training, and during your pregnancy, or whoever out there that's listening is going to fall pregnant, weight loss is just not going to be the focus throughout falling pregnant. And it's inevitable that you're going to lose parts of your fitness, right? Because you're not going to be able to do everything that you've done in the past. And I think a lot of us as well can focus on pregnancy and how things change. However, from my experience, the first 3 months after giving birth is actually the most difficult when it comes to bodies. I feel like when we are pregnant, we can sometimes feel somewhat okay with the changes in our body because we're pregnant, right? We're growing a human. But then once you have that baby, there is so much pressure for this bounce back to go back to what you looked like prior. But no one's thinking about, well, first of all, you've actually just given birth, which is like the most craziest experience and a very, very hard thing on your body. But other than that, I mean, you're going to be sleep deprived. You're going to have this little human baby just attached to you 24/7, and your whole life is flipped upside down. How on earth can you go back to what you were looking like prior? When, I mean, at the moment, how are you feeling about how your body is looking currently?
So I actually moved countries a couple of months back, and I've put on a lot of weight because I was eating out a lot. I know what I have to solve for. Um, I know I just need to, work on my nutrition, and the intention is just like you said. I don't want to have to think about weight loss after I'm pregnant. So before I do get pregnant, I want to lose all this excess fat, right?
Yep.
The trouble is that every time I begin on this journey, it's a monthly cycle of 2 weeks of really great discipline, and then 2 weeks of, waiting for my test to come positive, and then it's negative, and there's the emotional eating, and then there's um, the thought that, oh, even if I am pregnant, then maybe, anyway, I'm going to gain weight. So I end up eating and celebrating mentally.
Yeah.
So that's the tough part, I feel.
It's the mental aspect of things. And it is a really
Yeah.
stressful journey trying to conceive. I'm sending you lots of love. It's not an easy one. What I think,
Mhm.
though, my piece of advice is what I'm hearing is this pressure you're putting on yourself to lose all of this weight prior to falling pregnant, which is actually kind of counterproductive because you're feeling
Mhm.
like you need to do this by this set date or before this event actually happens. You're putting a lot of stress on yourself. What if you were to shift your mindset to, I want to be the healthiest I can be. So throughout my pregnancy, I'm healthy, my baby is healthy, and that's going to set me up for the best success after I have this child to going back to feeling strong again and feeling healthy again, rather than it just being about purely weight loss.
Yeah, I like that idea because then I'll start thinking about the journey and not the destination.
Absolutely. And the truth is you're going to need to lose weight. You mentioned that you don't want to worry about losing the weight after having a baby. And I understand that to a degree. If you feel like you've lost weight and you're at a point where like you've gained more than when your body naturally normally sits, then weight loss is completely fine. But you're gonna need, I shouldn't say you're gonna need to lose weight, but there's a high potential there that you might want to lose weight after you've had the baby. But
Hmm.
the priority here needs to be you want to prep your body and you want to have it the healthiest it can possibly be for this baby and for yourself. Because if you do that, if you set yourself up for a healthy pregnancy, and some things are out of our control when it does come to pregnancy. But what I
Hmm.
think girls fail to remember is that the before falling pregnant is incredibly, incredibly important, the state of which your body's in, because it's actually going to determine how quickly and how healthy your body is after having that baby. And if you're wanting to feel strong again and feel healthy again, then you need to start that pregnancy in a healthy and in a strong place. So instead of just, I think, stressing, you've already got a lot of stress on you. If you're trying to conceive and it's not happening and it's been 6 months, you got to show yourself
Hmm.
some compassion. The other question I was going to ask as well, are you on any kind of fertility treatment?
No, I'm not. I'm trying naturally right now.
Sure. Okay. That can definitely impact
Hmm.
your hunger cues as well. I mean, it's essentially just hormones, right? And we all know what we get like when we're PMSing before our period, and it's kind of that on steroids. So um, keep that in mind. I mean, hopefully you don't need to go down that track either. But what I would say is if you can take a deep breath and go, do you know what? I'm going to make the best decisions I possibly can each day to be the healthiest and the strongest. And that might mean weight loss, right? And
Hmm.
try to not, and actually, my previous episode on Dial-In-Dilemmas was all around emotional eating and how to deal
Yeah.
with those feelings and coming up with other tools in your tool belt to be able to deal with that disappointment and with that stress rather than really self-sabotaging and turning to food.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard that and decided that I want to ask you this. So I'm glad that you addressed that earlier.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're not alone. And this is really hard. Like I said, I'm sending you my love. It's not an easy process to go through. So show yourself some kindness. But I really feel like switching your mindset from this almost this state of like rush, I need to lose the weight before I fall pregnant, to I need to
Mhm.
make the best decisions today that are going to set me up for success in the future. And then forgive yourself when sometimes things don't go to plan, because things never go to plan, and jump back on the horse and try again.
Yeah, makes sense. I think it is a mindset shift. It may take a bit, but gotta show myself grace and go along the journey.
Absolutely. And please, please, please keep me updated on how everything goes. I'd love to hear an update.
Thank you so much. Yes, of course.
My absolute pleasure. Have a great day.
Thank you. Take
Thank
care.
you. Bye. Thank you so much for listening, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast episode. If you have a question for me, please head to my Instagram. There is a link in my bio where you can submit a voice memo that I can answer for you on the podcast. Or alternatively, if you want to jump on a call and you want to be on the Girlfriend Method podcast, which I would love to have you a part of, please send me a DM and we can work out a time. I've got everyone so far from America, Asia, Europe, Australia, wherever you are in the world, we can make the time zones work. And before I do go, I'm going to be announcing who this month's Gymshark voucher winner is. Drum roll, please. We have Instagram account, it's me underscore Vicky with 3 Y's and then underscore again. Vicky, thank you so much for leaving a review. She said, love listening to the podcast. Tash gives some great advice and is also honest about things that are going on in her life. She's a breath of fresh air. And haven't I spilt the beans the past couple of months? My goodness, my life's been a bit of shambles, but I feel like you guys are all my besties. And I love being able to share it with you all. And I just appreciate all of your support. Thank you so much, Vicky. Send me a DM and I will get that Gymshark voucher to you. All right, guys, until next week, big love, Coach Tash.